Hello and welcome to the old Fliers. Without the eccentric Poppy Houston, the Battle of Britain might have had a very different outcome. We all owe a debt of gratitude to this former chorus girl. Dame Fanny Lucy Houston was born in Lambeth, London in 1857, the fourth daughter of Thomas Radmill, a warehouseman. At the age of 16, she took up with a wealthy and married man twice her age, Frederick Gretton, whose family were co-owners of the Bass Brewery. They eloped to Paris. They never married, but she was known as Mrs. Gretton. She was a beautiful young coquette with impudent speech and a tiny waist who became expert in Parisian fashions and manners, says the Oxford Dictionary of National Biography. Gretton showered her with gifts and bequeathed her £6,000 a year for life when he died in 1882, aged just 42. That was an enormous sum, equivalent to £788,000 today. I bet his family weren't too thrilled about that. Now, set up for life, she wanted a stage career. 3 weeks into her first stage role, she eloped with Theodore Francis Brinkman, son of Sir Theodore Brinkman, 2nd Baronet. The relationship did not flourish, and that couple divorced in January 1895. She remarried in March 1901 to the retiring and previously confirmed bachelor George Byron, 9th Baron Byron. During the First World War, she strongly supported the war effort, for example, by sending matches to soldiers serving overseas. The boxes labelled "A Match for Our Matchless Troops" from Lady Byron, and her "Give Him Socks" campaign. Byron died in March 1917. Later that year, Lucy was appointed Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire for her creation of the Blue Bird's Nest, a rest home on Hampstead Heath for nurses serving on the Western Front. Her third and final marriage in December 1924 was to shipping magnate Sir Robert Houston, 1st Baronet, Member of Parliament for West Toxteth. Houston is described in the Oxford Dictionary of National Biography as a hard, ruthless, unpleasant bachelor. Nevertheless, Lucy Byron chased him for 7 years, seeing off his old friend Frederick Smith. When Sir Robert showed her his will, Lady Houston reportedly tore it up, telling him that £1 million, equivalent to £68 million today, was insufficient for her needs. By the time of their marriage, Sir Robert was an invalid who suffered from bouts of depression and believed that he was being poisoned. He died, leaving his widow roughly £5.5 million, equivalent to £376 million today. Lady Houston was now England's second richest woman. Although not liable to pay death duties on Houston's estate, she negotiated personally with Winston Churchill, then Chancellor of the Exchequer, to pay £1.6 million, equivalent to £109 million today, without admitting liability. Returning to London in 1928, Lady Houston began to support Boswell Printing and Publishing Company of Essex Street, a right-wing publisher. In 1931, she donated £100,000, equivalent to £7 million, to Supermarine, allowing them to win the Schneider Trophy in that year. The Air Ministry had refused a last-minute request by the Royal Aero Club for funds for an entry. Marshal of the Royal Air Force, Sir Hugh Trenchard, held the view that there was no advantage as aircraft development would continue whether or not the UK competed. The ministry forbade the use of the aircraft that competed in the 1929 race, forbade RAF pilots of the high-speed flight who were trained to fly these seaplanes to take part, and said that it would not police the racecourse in 1931 in the busy shipping lanes of the Solent. The Royal Aero Club sent a statement to the Cabinet in January 1931 offering to raise £100,000 if the government would rescind the Air Ministry's decrees on planes, pilots and policing. One newspaper sent a telegram to Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald stating that to prevent the socialist government from being spoilsports, Lady Houston will be responsible for all extra expenses beyond what Sir Philip Sassoon, President of the Royal Aero Club, says can be found so that Great Britain can take part in the race for the Schneider Trophy. The Supermarine S6 was Britain's entry to the prestigious race awarded to the world's fastest seaplane. The 1931 race off Cowes was Britain's chance to win the trophy for the third time. Besides, the Rolls-Royce engine and low-wing monoplane designed by Reginald J. Mitchell, an aeronautical engineer, promised to be a world beater which would transform the RAF and its slow, old biplanes. Without Lady Houston, Mitchell's design team would not have gained the experience in producing high-speed aircraft that led to the development of the Spitfire fighter, or at least not in time to join the Hurricane in fighting off the Luftwaffe in 1940, according to Air Chief Marshal Sir Michael Graydon, President of the Battle of Britain Memorial Trust. In 1932, she offered to give £200,000, equivalent to £15 million, to strengthen the British Armed Forces. The national government refused the offer. In a telegram to MacDonald, she wrote, "I alone have dared to point out the dire need for air defence of London. You have muzzled others who have deplored this shameful neglect. You have treated my patriotic gesture with a contempt such as no other government would have been guilty of towards a patriot." In 1933, she financed the Houston Mount Everest flight expedition in which aircraft flew over the summit of Mount Everest for the first time. This was to show opposition to granting independence to India. In October 1934, Lady Houston sent a cable to the winners of the McRobertson Air Race Team, Tom Campbell Black and C.W.A. Scott, saying, "Your achievement has thrilled me through. O brave men of my heart, if this does not make the government sit up, nothing will. Sleep well and feel proud of yourselves as we all are. Rule Britannia. God bless you both." Following her purchase of the Saturday Review in 1933 at the age of 76, she threw herself in a frenzy of activity as a newspaper proprietor, determined to alert Britain to the weakness of its political leaders and the dangers of communist infiltration of Britain. Frustrated by what she saw as the weakness of Ramsay MacDonald and then Stanley Baldwin as Prime Ministers, she pushed Lloyd George and Winston Churchill. She believed that Benito Mussolini and Adolf Hitler were strong leaders who pulled Italy and Germany from a state of decay. She wanted a strong British leader to emulate them. She admired the stance of both Hitler and Mussolini against Soviet Russia, believing that its political ambitions presented the greatest threat to the power of Britain and its empire. By December 1936, she was a semi-invalid who spent most of her time in bed from where she edited and ran the Saturday Review. However, she was so distraught by the abdication of King Edward VIII, which she believed was the result of sinister forces coming from Moscow, that she stopped eating and died of a heart attack on the 29th of December 1936, aged 79. She had no children and left no will. Thank you for watching. Fly safe.